Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to part 31 of this Baldur's Gate 3 Trophy and Achievement Walkthrough. We just finished up in the Sorceress Sundries. We were able to help out Roland, and we also learned some things with the Necromancy of Thay tome that we've collected a long time ago. And now we are going to do a little bit of side quest stuff that's going to get us to level 12 and also help us with some future trophies. The first thing that we want to do is to travel to the south span of Worm's Crossing. So let's fast travel over there. And then if you look at your map, you should see a little bit south of where we currently are, there's going to be a quest marker and it will say Nimble on it. That's where we have to go. It's just a little bit south of our current location. So let's go out to the main road. We'll head south through the south span checkpoint, and then we want to hang out on the left side of the road. You'll get past a couple carts on the left, turn here, and then we're going to go under this archway. And what you'll see is you go along, there's a little bit of a path that will lead down. It's just to the side of these trees and bushes here, so climb down and then you're going to see some knotted roots. Let's climb down those, and at the bottom you should be able to find a little bit of a hole in the wall here. This is a cave entrance, so let's go inside. Now let's move forward a little bit into Angle Iron Cellar, and we're able to climb up the cragged rock just in front of us, and when we get up there we're going to get into a little bit of a cutscene. So go up the cragged rock and head forward until you get that cutscene.
The boss is expecting you. Hasn't forgotten what you did for him at Moonrise.
Because we got Wulbren out of the Moonrise Towers in Act 2, they're very friendly to us here. Let's run around and talk to Bumpnagel.
You think I want my clan facing down one of those walking death machines with cutlery? Then leave me to my work.
Do you have anything to trade?
Only if you're quick.
He does have a decent selection of arrows and things, so if you like to use any archery stuff, go ahead and grab that. And also, he does have some pretty interesting gloves that you might want to purchase. Nothing that you really need, but if you want to experiment with some of these things, go ahead and grab that. Another very interesting item is this Flash Blinder. If you use it against the Steel Watcher, it will become stunned and malfunction for a couple turns. That can really help you out with some future fights. So go ahead and grab some of those if you want to. Otherwise, we're just going to keep on going.
Now let me get back to it.
Let's keep on heading toward the west. You'll go down toward the ladder up ahead, and then turn toward the left, and you'll go into this back room. Here you'll find Wulbren in the back, so go talk to him.
Good to see you. Wasn't sure you'd make it to the city. Regretting it yet? I spent a lot of time thinking of worst-case scenarios while I was locked in that cell you plucked me out of at Moonrise. I didn't imagine anything as bad as this. The Gondians have handed Enver Gortash the means to bring about the end of liberty in Baldur's Gate. And the citizens have rolled out the red carpet for the new tyrant. Resistance fighters are few and far between. My iron hands, what's left of the Harpers, and you, I hope.
I'm with you.
Good. We don't have a chance unless we stick together. Not while the Gondians' metal monsters are patrolling the streets. The Steel Watch, they're a threat to you, me, and every man, woman, and child in this city. They act all civilized, servants of the people, but they only serve one man. When he becomes Grand Duke, it will only get worse. Laws will change, freedoms will vanish, and soon you'll be accused and sentenced before you've even committed a crime. And the fucking Gondians are to blame for all of it.
Cheer up, Wulbren. We're here to help.
I heard about that. You had the Harpers all excited, but there aren't many Harpers left. These Steel Watchers, one of them is the equivalent of a red dragon. An army of them. Well, there's never been an army of dragons.
How do we stop them?
By hitting the Gondians. Hard. They invented the Steel Watchers, and they're building an army of them. They've always been happy to provide their technology to despots in exchange for a stipend and the freedom to work in peace. They would have licked Saravok's boots, given the chance. And now they'll kiss Gortash's ring while this city screams. I had a plan to put a stop to them. But the way things are now, if we stick our heads above ground, the Watchers are on us like flies on shit.
What was the plan?
Same as it always is. Eliminate the threat. In this case, the Foundry where these atrocities are produced. The Gondians are ingenious, but we're more than equal to them. There's nothing they can build that the Iron Hands can't tear down. I've built something unique for just that purpose. A Runepowder bomb. First of its kind. 50 wizards high on the weave couldn't summon this kind of firepower. Get the bomb inside the Gondian facility, and boom. Problem solved.
Wulbren, please. This is too far. Everyone in the Foundry would be killed.
Quiet, Barkus. The adults are talking.
I'll blow up the Foundry. Give me the bomb.
Ha! I knew you were the practical sort. That's why we get along. The Foundry is in the lower city, down by the docks. Beautiful building, belching smoke into the sky day and night. Getting inside won't be easy, but when you do, place the bomb at the heart of the facility. Get yourself back to street level. The streets will be clear of Watchers in no time.
We now have the Runepowder bomb, and that is a very powerful explosive that we're going to use to destroy that Foundry. So we're going to go back out into the hallway where we came from. There is a ladder right here, but you can't use it just yet because the hatch on top is closed. So go to the lever right behind, pull that down, and then you can go up the ladder. Once you're outside, we want to do a little bit of fast traveling to get to the spot that's closest to getting to the Foundry. That would probably be the lower city central wall waypoint. So let's head on over there. And then what we want to do is head down and toward the southwest area. So if you look on your map, we're going to go way over here to the point on the far side that's in the blackness. What you want to do is just start heading west. You're going to go through this archway, and then we're going to take a little run through the park here. We really haven't been this way before, but there's some interesting stuff around Bloomridge Park. This act is very full of all side quest stuff, so if you want to explore, you can explore as much as you want to, but for the point of this video, we're just going to kind of stay on task, and we're going to keep heading along the paths as we travel kind of toward the southwest. We're going to keep going down. You should see the building straight in front of us. That's the beautiful building with the smoke rising out of it. So you know that you're going in the right direction if you're heading that way and you see that large building in the background. We'll keep heading around toward the west. We'll go around this cart, and we're going to keep going around toward the left side, following this path around.
Academics refer to their works from time to time.
They talk a great deal, but do very little.
Now just keep going down here. You can follow this path around. We're getting very close to the building. When you see these like train tracks or minecart tracks, you know that you're in the right spot. You'll turn and go left, and we want to go down this ramp here toward the bottom. And when you get to the bottom, just keep running forward. There's going to be a little bit of a cutscene, and you'll recognize something that we haven't seen in a little while.
Evil comes in. It's not a lie. If you would just listen, I could explain. You have done quite enough explaining, Volo. You have poisoned the very hearts and minds of these good, kind, gentle citizens with your lies, your delusions, your conspiracies. Though you hide behind a mask of stories, we have seen beyond the veil. We see what you really are. Fearmonger. Hear, hear! Attention seeker. Hear, hear! Agent of chaos.
Your parasite stirs in recognition. This man is infected.
Wreck the hell's Volo! Today, citizens, we rid ourselves of this cankerous sore. Today we burn away all falsehoods. Today we will be divided no longer, for today we rise in truth.
Psst. Don't just stand there. Help me, goddammit! Help me!
I really think we ought to step in here. Whatever his crime, his punishment is surely an overcorrection.
We definitely want to save Volo here, but it doesn't really matter what you choose. As long as you intervene, you end up fighting them anyway. So just say, ready your weapon.
What's this? The opportune wielding of a weapon? It seems, dear citizens, that we have a heretic in our midst. Well, we are nothing if not gracious. Let us see if we cannot lift the veil from their eyes too.
No, please, no!
Well, here you can see that Volo is tied up to a lot of smoke powder barrels, and there's now a trail of fire going toward him. He's kind of on a timer. If we don't rescue him soon enough, he is going to blow up and he will die. So we definitely have to rescue him. The problem is there's a lot of guys in between us. So you just want to get there as quick as possible. I'm just going to choose to dash with the monk, and then you can either fly or just run. It doesn't really matter, but you want to get over to him very quickly. So we're just using our excellent movement to move our way over close to him, and then when we get right up next to him, then we're going to choose to just shove him. You can choose to attack the chair underneath him, but I found it's just easier to choose to shove and push him over to the side. It's a 100% chance of working here, so we'll knock him away, and then he's just going to take off running. He will not engage, he's not going to help us fight, anything like that. He's going to run back away from the fight, and the enemy is going to mostly focus on us going forward. We don't really have to worry about Volo anymore. He's going to get himself to safety, and we just have to clean up all the rabble here. They really just focus on ranged attacks, so just get up in their face and start beating them, or use magic, whatever you want to. I'm just going to hit them with some sneak attacks, doing tons of damage and probably taking them out in one turn. So it's good for Astarion in this fight. You can get really good attacks off on these guys, and with all of that extra damage that we're doing because he's now an ascended vampire, we should be able to get through this pretty quickly. Well, I'm just skipping now ahead to the end of the fight. We're going to finish off this guy and then continue on from here. We did a very good job of rescuing Volo, and if you look to the background, you can see what would have happened if we hadn't rescued him. He would have gone out in a blaze of glory. Well, now we're going to go around and talk to Volo. I didn't find anything interesting looting the guys in this area, so we probably don't have to worry about that. But let's go have a chat with Volo anyway.
Gods, I really thought I was done for. I suppose thanks are in order. Again, what's an heroic story without a little risking of one's neck, eh? And you know what they say, the bigger the story, the more people want to kill you for it. I'll tell you all about it, but not here. Too many eyes, ears, and weapons about. Meet me at your camp.
Volo is now on his way to our camp. We can just fast travel there, and when we get there, we also got an inspiration point called Saving a Fellow Tail Spinner. That's one of the charlatan background goals that we have through Astarion. Well, we just want to keep running straight ahead, kind of toward Withers, and then Volo is going to be on the left side. You can see him with that exclamation point above his head.
It is splendid to see you again, my friend. If you hadn't saved me from that mob, I'd be penning a guide to the afterlife based on first-hand experience. Perhaps you would hazard a guess as to why the mob turned on me?
Orin the Red controls a syndicate of killers. Perhaps you've pissed her off.
Quite right. But it is not Orin herself who has marked me for death. It is her dread master, The Lord of Murder has returned. As he did 100 years ago, Baal has set his accursed sights on Baldur's Gate. And his temple runs red with the blood of the innocent. Oren is his chosen. And like Sarevok before her, she is able to take on the savage form of the Slayer. If the Slayer is not stopped, it will slaughter every living thing in this city. As one of those things, I'm particularly eager to stop it. And there is a way. I have a study of the beast, penned by the wizard Irenicus himself. It contains all of the knowledge needed to slay the Slayer. Now I just need a brave adventurer, willing to face Baal's chosen, and to put the knowledge into practice.
I already defeated the Slayer.
You triumphed over Baal's chosen? Marvelous! Such a historic deed must be documented in every gory detail. You and I shall pen the book of your experiences together. But I suppose you'll have to deal with the Illithids first. Please do tell me when you've thwarted every apocalypse that's currently in motion.
All right, with that out of the way, we're going to change up the team a little bit. So I'm going to run and add Lae'zel to the team. She is going to take Gale's place. And then we're going to go over to Karlach, and Karlach is going to replace Shadowheart on the team. So just run around and make those changes. We haven't used Karlach in a little while, so we will have a couple opportunities to level her up as soon as we put her on the team. So let's go ahead and do that right away. Karlach is now a level 8 barbarian. She gets some more health as well as a new feat. I'm going to choose Savage Attacker. It's just a really nice ability that allows us to roll the dice twice when we attack, and we will always take the higher result as long as it is a melee weapon. I learned this lesson a little too late, but it does not work for unarmed attacks. That's going to come back to bite me a little bit later on in the video. Level 9 barbarian, we also get brutal criticals, so that when we land a critical hit, we roll an extra damage dice as well and add that to our damage. And now as a level 10 barbarian, we also get intimidating presence so that we can strike fear into an enemy and maintain that intimidating presence to prolong the target's fear. Finally, at level 11, we get a little bit more survivability through more health as well as relentless rage. Once per short rest, if we drop down to 0 hit points while enraged, we regain 1 hit point, so we just stay alive for a little bit longer if we otherwise would have died.
Looking ahead.
Now let's go around. I forgot to mention this before, but Volo is actually a shopkeeper, so we can talk to him, and you can see he's got some scrolls as well as a supply pack. So go ahead and grab whatever you want to out of him, and then we're going to continue on from here. You'll notice that Elminster is in our camp. He does help us out with Gale's side quest. You basically just go and have a conversation with Mystra. It adds a little bit more to his story, but it's not important, so I'm not going to show that. Instead, we're going to head back to where we were in the lower city, and I want to equip a couple weapons on to Astarion that we got from Orin the Red. It's her 2 legendary weapons that we picked up. You can put them in either hand, and they each have bonuses, the Bloodthirst and the Crimson Mischief. So choose whichever combination you want to. I'm going main hand Crimson Mischief and offhand Bloodthirst, but you can mess around with those if you want to and do whatever feels right for you. It just is a good combination, I think, for doing some extra damage. Okay, now we're going to go over to this Steelwatch Foundry gate. We can pick the lock and then go inside of it. You do want to be aware, though, that inside there is a couple Steelwatch guys, and one of them will be able to see you most likely. You're just going to have to talk your way out of that situation. We open the gate with a skill check of 20, and now we're going inside.
Let's move.
You've set foot in a restricted area. A swift exit may be in order.
Try to convince them you belong here. Intimidation. That uniform of yours will make a very tasteful body bag if you don't get out of my way. We get a skill check looking for a 22. A little bit difficult, but we do have some good bonuses.
You've been granted free passage. What you do with that privilege is up to you.
We completed another one of the charlatan background goals and get an inspiration point called Not So Infallible After All. Now let's go up to the Steel Watch Foundry doors and we can lockpick these as well.
With pleasure.
This has a skill check of 20. We have a lot of bonuses, so let's keep going. Now we just have to run straight inside and we're going to go down into the next room, but beware that there's going to be a scene and a pretty long battle right after this.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
You have beaten and tormented us to the brink of insanity. You cut out my eyes, but we will bow no more. Gondians! Rip the motivator from this bastard's hands! For Gond!
We have a big battle here. We do have a lot of allies, though. It's all of the people with the green portraits. They are the Gondians. We want to save as many of them as possible by taking out the enemy quickly, but there are a few things that you want to keep in mind. You'll notice that some of the enemies have something that comes out of them called a motivator, and it will just be levitating there, glowing purple on the ground. It also pops up as a portrait on the top of the page. You'll see the little hourglass at the top. You basically have this turn, and then on the next turn, it will cause basically all of the collars that are around the Gondians' necks to explode, and that will instantly kill them. So you need to take out that motivator as quickly as possible. It does use one of your actions, so you do need to have one of your green action points to be able to use it. And once you do that, then it will deactivate it, and then that will save the Gondians. These fights can have multiple of the motivators. You don't have to kill the enemy for it to activate. Sometimes they will choose to activate it on their turn. So you just have to pay attention to those things because we are going to save all of the Gondians that we can as we go forward. So we're just going to fight off these guys. It's not terribly difficult. Just make sure that you're focusing on shutting down those motivators as you go along so that you don't have all of the Gondians explode, and that would be very bad for us. So now I'm going to have Astarion take out another enemy and you'll get a scene.
Prinsky's motivation sequence activated.
No! The motivator! Deactivate it! Hurry!
As I said before, you just have to select the motivator and use your action slot to deactivate it. The first one that you interact with, you do have to pass a skill check looking for a 5 of intelligence. Not very difficult, I barely made it though, and then that will shut it down. So I can't get both of them in the same turn because I only have the one action slot, but then I can just use a different character to deactivate the next one. And after these two are turned off, then we're in pretty good shape. We just want to start eliminating the enemies around here, and once the battle's over, we can keep going. We're going to make sure that we talk to the leader of the Gondians. He's right here. This is Xander Tubin.
Did you see what happened? Is my little girl... Is Obedia safe?
We rescued her from the Iron Throne, so we can say, the prison exploded, but I got everyone out.
My heart. I thought her lost. I would give more than just my sight to keep her safe. Our destination is the Neurositer, the nerve center of the Steel Watch. Guide me there, and I'll do the rest.
I don't need you. I have a Runepowder bomb. Won't that do the trick?
Your bomb will most certainly do the trick. Place it directly on the Neurositer, and then run like every fiend of the 9 hells snaps at your heels.
Well, during that fight, we got to level 12, so let's go ahead and level up for the last time. Now our monk is level 12, we get a new feat and an additional key point and some health. This is where I screwed up because I didn't read closely enough. I decided to go with Savage Attacker, but as it says, it's only for melee weapon attacks, and if you use unarmed attacks with a monk, it does not count, so this was completely wasted. I should have gone with something more like Tough, just to give me a little bit more health. Okay, now moving on, we have Astarion, our level 12 rogue. We also get a new feat, as well as a health increase. I'm just going to go with ability improvement, dumping 1 point into Dex and 1 into Constitution. So he's now at 20 Dexterity and a good amount of Constitution as well. Now we're going on to Lae'zel, our level 12 fighter. We get a feat as well as some health. I'm going ability improvement with her as well, dumping another point into strength and then 1 into constitution. So she's now at 20 strength and 16 constitution. Finally, we have Karlach on our team, so she's going to be a level 12 barbarian. We also get a feat as well as some more health and an additional rage charge. Let's go ability improvement, dumping a couple points into strength just to have her do some better attacks. She already had savage attacker, so it works out pretty well for her. So we're all level 12 now. We're going to be getting another level 12 related trophy a little bit later on, but for the time being we're going to head up and then over toward the west. There's going to be a large door here into the security office. If you loot the bodies, you'll probably be able to find a key around here, but you can just lockpick it as well. I don't even have to add bonuses anymore to these things. I can just get right through them without even trying. So now let's go through the security office door and then follow the red carpet around and to the right. You're going to see that there's a staircase leading down here. You definitely want to save it before going into here. I know that it did just auto-save, but I like to hard save it as well. And then make sure that you're topped up on health because we have quite a big and interesting fight down inside. You also want to start by sneaking downstairs so that we can get an advantage in the fight. So as we get down here, you'll see that in the lab level there's a bunch of Gondians and they're fighting against the enemies of the Steel Watch. There are a couple Steel Watchers and some other enemies, so we need to fight off these Hellfire Watchers and get rid of them. They do behave like the Steel Watchers, so you can kind of know what to expect with that, but you want to take out these enemies as quickly as possible while saving the Gondians. There are 3 groups of enemies. There's the one up here that I'm fighting right now. There's the one a little bit closer to me. You can see them bunched up. And then there's actually another one a little bit further toward the north side of the room. You can kind of see them as a couple dots over there on the mini-map. So what you want to do is just to try to eliminate them quickly. And the Gondians actually do a pretty good job of fighting. They've got some pretty good spells to fight the enemy off. Now, beware that some of these enemies like to use Spirit Guardians, and they can even double up, and that is just a lot of damage per turn, so definitely work on interrupting them as best as possible so that they won't be constantly hurting the Gondians around here. This fight also has motivators, so be careful of that. You want to deactivate those quickly, and you need to take out the enemies as you see them. Now, keep in mind that when you get those Hellfire Watchers down to low HP, they will enter their self-destruct mode, so you need to clear out of the area as quickly as possible so you don't get caught in the blast. Just having Lae'zel kill the enemies around here, and then she's going to turn over and start attacking them as well. As such a high-level fighter, she has many attacks on her side, so if you haven't gotten the Action Surge trophy by this point, I don't know what's wrong, but you should be able to attack many times per battle and per turn, so you should be able to get that trophy without any problem by this point. You can see that now both of those Hellfire Watchers are ready to self-destruct. So let's get out of the way. Unfortunately, I barely did not have enough movement speed on Karlach, so she is in the line of fire, but she can take some damage. It's not that big of a deal. You just don't want to get blown up by like 2 of them at once. So we did use Lae'zel to turn off that motivator on this side, and then she's just going to hang out here. The other enemies in the bottom part, they're going to be the last ones to be eliminated, but that's okay. We're just working on the groups as we go along, trying to keep all of those Gondians alive. But like I said, they do a pretty good job of sticking up for themselves, and they will actually focus on breaking the enemy's concentration as well. So it's actually really good AI for this game. I noticed that too with certain area of effect spells. The enemies will try to dodge those as best as possible and say just out of range. So good job, developers. I've noticed your hard work, and it definitely shows. Well, now I'm just going to skip forward to the end of the fight. There's not a whole lot more to say about this one other than try to keep the Gondians alive as best as you can and then eliminate the enemy and move right along while you are turning off those motivators as they pop up. There should be one on the far side that group furthest from us when we started, and I did encounter another one that was down in the group down below here. And now I'll just have Karlach finish off the fight. So I think I did a good job of keeping the Gondians alive. As far as I know, they all survived. It doesn't really matter though. Just try to do your best at keeping them alive if you're trying to be a good character. Before you move on, go ahead and look down on the bodies here. What you want to do is find a very specific key. And I think that if you look at Hans Rives, you'll find the control level key. So grab that one. That's going to allow us to get through the control room door that normally has a lockpicking check of level 30. Very difficult to get through, so grab that control room key instead, and then we're going to head north and go into the control center antechamber. There's a couple pods on the left-hand side, and you'll see that the Steel Watchers are actually being controlled by brains inside those tubes. So interact with those if you want to, it doesn't really matter, but we can just go right into this control center room now. Start to sneak immediately as you go in here. You'll see that there's some Steel Watchers, and there's actually a very large Steel Watcher. I think it's like a Steel Titan or something that's underneath those big barrels right in front of us. What you want to do is to sneak through this room perfectly without being seen by anything. So I'm going to use a potion of invisibility, and that will allow me to walk right through this area without being seen. Our goal is to head all the way to the east so that we can get to the Neurocitor, and we're going to plant the Runepowder bomb over here, and it's in the neural switchboard.
Neurocitor awaits your input.
Focus on the center of the Neurocitor, the perfect place for the Runepowder bomb.
This will destroy the Foundry, wiping it from the face of the Forgotten Realms.
Carefully place the bomb.
That was a hell of a show, my friend. Watchers collapse in the street as we speak. And the Foundry. The scent of Runepowder drifts through the city like a warm embrace. I see my bomb did the trick, but it's not over. So long as a single parasitic Gondian remains, Baldur's Gate is under threat.
Enough, Wulbren. Gortash enslaved us, forced us to build his steel watches, but no more. Take the city, let the Iron Hands reign supreme. I just wish to go home and hold my daughter.
What about Gortash? What if he forces you to build up his steel watch once more?
He'll never find us. We have safe houses all over the city. We are no threat. I swear it.
Please. If a Gondian told me the sky was blue, I'd look outside and check. You Gondians will lie, scheme, and torment this city until your dying breaths. Let's end this!
Wulbren, enough! I won't watch as you poison your soul and the brilliant future that remains to the Iron Hand Gnomes. I thought the Iron Hand Gnomes had corrupted you, Wulbren. Now, I wonder if it wasn't the other way around. Kill the Gondians, and you kill all we love. Collaboration, challenge, solving problems with the power of reason, creativity, and invention. I still want to believe you're better than that, Wulbren. But even I am having my doubts.
So if Barkus is alive, you can persuade him to become the leader, and that will mean that Barkus sides with you for the Gather Your Allies quest. Otherwise, if you want Wulbren to be the person who sides with you, then you can eliminate all the Gondians. So the choice is yours, whichever way you want to go. I'm going to say Persuasion. Perhaps the Iron Hand Gnomes need a new leader. What say you, Barkus? And that gives me a skill check of 15, so let's go ahead and roll that and move on.
I say you're right. They deserve a leader who'll encourage them to create, not destroy. They deserve someone like me. I can't save you from yourself, Wulbren. It hurts terribly, but I can't. Toss your values in the bin if you want, but don't throw out the Iron Hands with them.
This is ridiculous. Iron Hands. Kill this man.
How dare you? Cowards!
The Gondians recognize Barkus Root as leader of the Iron Hand Gnomes, and look forward to ushering in a new peace between our factions.
It is with a heavy heart that I remove Wulbren Bongal from our ranks. You have until first light to leave the city. Wulbren.
I expect treachery from all sides, but you, little Barkus, the boy who followed me from the Underdark, who clung to me like moss to stone, when we next meet, my hammer will cleave your skull in two, and that is a promise!
By destroying the Foundry, we completed the soldier background goal called Love That Smell, so we get another inspiration point with Lae'zel, and we also completed the Outlander background goal called Catastrophic Structural Failure, that was through Karlach as well. And we completed the quest called Disable the Steel Watch, so all those Steel Watchers around the city are now out of commission and won't bother us. Now let's talk to Barkus Root.
Well, here we are. A most unexpected outcome.
You'll make a great leader of the Iron Hand Gnomes.
I am many things. A leader is not one of them. But no time like the present to learn. And I can't do any worse than Wulbren, sorry as I am to say it. I don't know when he became so angry, so violent. But I'm glad to say I see the truth of it now. At last. Thank you for your encouragement. I needed it, and have done since the day we met. I may have lost Wulbren, but I found a far preferable ally. Friend, even. Now, myself and the Iron Hand Gnomes have much to disentangle. But when you're ready to face what's waiting for you, believe me, we will be at your side. Shoo then. For now. My friend.
I love how this game just takes innocent characters like Barkus, who we saved from a windmill in Act 1, and lead them all the way through the end of the game. Now we're going to do the Investigate the Suspicious Toys side quest. To do that, we're going to travel over to the Lower City Central Wall waypoint, and then if you have Karlach in your party, you can run ahead, and over on the right side there's going to be a vendor who recognizes Karlach, so let's go over here and talk to her under the blue awning.
Karlach Cliffgate? That can't possibly be you, can it?
Fitz! If you aren't a sight for sore eyes.
Where the hell's have you been, girl? Last I heard you'd run off to Neverwinter, and that was what? 10 years ago?
Neverwinter? Who told you that?
Gortash. Said you didn't even give notice.
Ha! That prick, but... Never mind that. Look at you. The years have been good to you.
I won't lie. They have.
Care to introduce me to your friend, Karlach?
Of course. This is Fitz, one of my old mates from the neighborhood. We grew up together, moved to the lower city together, even worked together for you-know-who.
You see, he's the Archduke now. What the fuck, right?
Right? Oh, I'm sure the fox will make a great duke of the hen house.
I think you were the only thing that kept him a little honest. After you left, things got dark, fast. I got out while my soul was still intact. Started working for an arms merchant. Still in the trade, as you can see. Met my fella Gregor that way. We've been together 8 years now. And Karlach, we've a little one on the way.
Fitz! That's incredible! Congratulations! Mum life, huh? You're going to be incredible.
Gods, I hope so. Even after all these years, it seemed to happen so fast. But now that you're back in town, you must come to ours. All of you. We'll have a good supper, catch up. You can meet Gregor. And the little one in a few months. Are the two of you together?
Ew, no. Just mates. Very good mates.
I'm still a little bit salty about missing that hot date trophy, and this line did not make me feel any better.
Oh, that's lovely. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I can't tell you how good it is to see you, Fitz. I'd love to come have dinner with you and Gregor. We're in the city on some urgent business, but can I come find you when it's all settled?
I'd love that. Meanwhile, if you're still in the business of intimidation, you should take a look at my stock.
The only really good thing that you want to buy here is the purple bow. It's called the Dead Shot. It lowers the number that you need to roll a critical hit by 1, and it has keen attack. The wielder doubles their proficiency bonus when rolling range attacks with this weapon, unless they have a disadvantage. So it is a really good bow, probably one of the best in the game.
Great to have you back, Karlach.
After that, let's talk to Karlach.
Hope that wasn't a lie. I hope we do get to meet up with Fitz when this is all over. First step, save the city. Then, save myself. And last but not least, dinner with an old friend. What more could you ask for?
I'm going to equip the Deadshot bow on Asarian. He's our #1 bow user, and this will just give him a little bit more damage, and I really like the fact that we get all of those bonuses as well. So let's start heading over toward the south. We don't want to go through the gate. We want to head around the gate down this path. Now you can go into the building and do a lot of talking to people. It's totally unnecessary. All you want to do is go around toward the back side. So we're heading to the south side of the building, down on this little plaza level here. You definitely want to save your game when you get down here, just because we're going to do something that involves a lot of fighting, and we just want to make sure that it goes well. So once the game is saved, you want to use your fly ability to get you up on top of the roof that's right behind you, right across from the spot with that quest marker. So just fly on up here to the roof, and then once you're up here, you'll notice that the enemy can still see you around here. So we need to go up just a little bit higher. We're going to go up to the very top of the roof, and that is right where the enemy won't see us. So once you're up here, you have a good clean shot right inside that building. Now it's a firework building that has a lot of, fireworks in it, which are very flammable. So grab something like an alchemist fire and chuck it right inside here, and you're gonna have a blast doing that. Well, a lot of guys got incinerated from that, and what you'll notice is that there's actually kind of a chain reaction. There can be more explosions, so don't be too quick to jump inside there. You don't want to get caught in any residual blasts, but after you are pretty sure that it's all been cleaned out pretty well, then you can just fly across the alley straight into the building, and we can clean up anyone that's still remaining on the top floor. There might just be a couple guys, but we can take those out really easily as well. Once you set foot inside of Falogir's fireworks, you will get an update to the Investigate the Suspicious Toys quest, so we're not done with it yet, but we have made a little bit of progress with this. You will be in a battle, and there are actually enemies on all 3 floors of this, so you might want to bring your other characters inside and start fighting, but for the most part, I'm just going to have the monk up top here. I can just chuck another alchemist fire over here, taking out the enemies, and then if there's any other unexploded fireworks, we can get some good residual explosions. There are some more in that back room as well, in case any enemies are remaining in that far back room. You can blow them all up. This Tom Bold, the Paladin, he's kind of like the main person that you need to think about here. So we're just going to eliminate him, and then we have to get rid of all the enemies on the other 2 floors as well. So they should be activated, and they will start to come at our team. They will open up the doors, which just lead straight out, and then they'll probably cast some spells down on you. But opening up that door was a big mistake for them, because we have a Githyanki that can jump really far and really high. So I'm going to switch on over to Lae'zel, and she is going to jump all the way up into the 2nd floor of this place, and now she will be inside the building and can start destroying them from within. So let's just run her around with all of her attacks. She can really just eliminate these enemies very quickly. Karlach and Astarion aren't really useful in this fight, so I don't even need them. I'll keep Astarion around in this area just in case someone tries to look out the window. I can shoot them, but otherwise it's really just melee attacks going with the monk and with Lae'zel. So we're just going to keep on running around here, and we're making our way from the top floors all the way to the bottom floor.
Victory awaits. This is your end.
With all the enemies eliminated, the battle is over, but there are still some more guys on the very bottom floor. When I regrouped my party, the other party members started to run toward the building, which actually triggered a battle with the enemies on the lowest floor. They're pretty weak though, you don't have to worry too much about them, so just make your way down toward the 2nd floor if you're up here, and you can actually look down off the balcony, and there's going to be 3 enemies down below on the lowest floor. So I'm just going to park the monk here. The guys will start to dash around. They need to get up toward us, and so they're going to be running around and trying to get up here as fast as they can, and we're going to try to meet them halfway. So let's run down here, and we're exhausting all of our movement speed. We're just going to wait here for 1 minute while the enemy continues to take their turn. This guy's going to run up the stairs and get close to us, which is kind of a mistake because he's outnumbered at this point, and the other one is going to dash over toward his friend at the bottom of the stairs. Now, what they don't remember is that they're still in a fireworks place, and there are boxes of fireworks all around them, so we can use another one of our alchemist fires to chuck it down there, and that will cause them to explode, and they will go out in a burst of jubilee. Now, one of them died outright, the other one just has a couple HP remaining. So I'm just going to go over, take out his friend right here, and then I'm going to give it over to Lae'zel to hop down there and finish off the last enemy. So very easy fights through here. You just want to use the environment to your advantage, causing all of those elemental explosions around here with all the fireworks. Makes it very easy to get through this place with taking very minimal damage. And that does it. The fight is over, and we also now completed the Investigate the Suspicious Toy side quest. So all of these people who are making those toys, all those stuffed bears with the explosives in them, they're all dead. We don't have to worry about them anymore, and we've done our good deed of the day on top of saving the Gondians. As you're looting the area, you'll find this installation report. Basically, these guys were also responsible for rigging the Iron Throne to explode, which happened in an earlier part. And if you go into the very back room up here on the 3rd floor, you'll see a lot of things that you want to pick up. Namely, there are a good number of smoke powder bombs as well as some smoke powder barrels, so pick all that stuff up. Those smoke powder barrels also automatically critically hit whatever gets blown up. So really good item to have, especially if you know that you've got a big fight ahead of you. You can prepare by laying down your traps there, and then you will just cause them to explode. And we can actually use that to our advantage a little bit later on. So make sure you grab all that stuff. You can also grab crates of fireworks if there's any that are unexploded, or you can make your way down into the basement area. There's actually a hatch that will get you down in there, and then you can go ahead and loot the place and grab a bunch of fireworks. Those do some damage as well, and they just look kind of cool when they explode. So we're all done with this area now. We've saved all of those people. Now what we want to do is head on over toward another waypoint. We're not allowed to fast travel directly to where Gortash is in his castle, so I'm going to do a little trick that's going to refill our health, and that's by traveling to a different zone. So the first thing we want to do is just travel to a different area, like the south span of Worm's Crossing. It'll say you're going to a different region, you want to venture forth. When you do that, you get all of your health back. It doesn't really count as a long rest because you don't always get your spell slots back doing that, but now we can travel back to the Basilisk Gate, which was the other area that we were just at, and then that will allow us to continue on close to where we need to be. So we're back in the lower city now. If we had just traveled here directly, we wouldn't have gotten all of our health back. So now we're going to go into Worm's Crossing. We're going to be right outside of Gortash's castle. Let's head on over, and there are going to be now hostile enemies in this area. We destroyed the Iron Throne, we got rid of the Steel Watchers, so these guys aren't very happy with us right now. Luckily, they're also not very difficult for us to take out either. So there are a couple enemies right inside the doors here. Don't run too far forward though as you're fighting with them. You want to kind of hang back a little bit because there are more enemies later on, and we don't want to get in too big of a fight and then be outnumbered. So stick kind of close by to this entrance door here and finish off all the enemies. It should be pretty quick for you to take them all out. And then we're going to continue on moving forward toward where that waypoint is. It's down the hall and on the right side. As you get down there, you should engage in a battle, so just be prepared for that. There's some more enemies. Again, they're not very difficult. I like to just close the door here, and then the enemy will have to run toward us. They can't really see where we are because we're hidden from their view and they're hidden from our view, but they will run forward toward you, kind of wasting their turn as they come out here, and then we can try to eliminate them as they get close to us. From a tactical standpoint, I always want the enemy to run toward me so that I can fight them where I want them to be, whether it's bunching them up in a funnel shape so that I can eliminate them easily, either with AoE spells or just having all of my characters nearby to eliminate them very quickly. Well, anyway, that fight goes by super quick, and then we are able to go from this room with the waypoint across the hall. You're going to be back in the room with the lift that takes you upstairs to where we met Gortash in person, where he became the Archduke. But we're going to go off to the side. We're going to go through the exit that takes us outside. We did this before when we went down into the prison to fight Answer. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go all the way back down toward the bottom area. But I'm going to save going into the prison for the next video. Just so you know, I've completed the game by this point and done all of the rough editing for the videos. All I have to do now is do the voiceover work, and I hope to bring that to you as fast as possible. There are going to be 35 parts in total for this first playthrough, so we're getting close to the end, and I really want to thank you for all of your support that you've shown. Make sure that you hit that like button if you enjoy these videos, and subscribe if you have not done so already. It really helps me out. So I'll see you soon for part 32. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.